Hi friends, welcome to part 2 of a 3-part series on raising financially responsible children. Part 1, which I will link above, was about the influences that shape our children's perception of money. Part number 2 will be about the 10 principles that I used to define financial responsibility. And part 3 will be about how to raise financially responsible children. Now, if you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for your subscription. And if you haven't yet, make sure you click on the subscribe button and on the notifications bell so that you will know right away when part 3 is uploaded. So let's get started. So approximately 10 years ago, I made a decision that I was going to train my children to be financially responsible. And my number one goal was to train them for real life so that when they encounter real life financial situations, they would be able to make wise decisions. Now, I realized that all the experts and every family may have a different definition of what does it mean to be financially responsible. So the 10 principles that I'm going to give you today are simply what I have used with my kids for the last 10 years. Number 1 is living within your means, which means no debt. Now I realize that this seems very simplistic and commonsensical, but believe me when I tell you that I did not get this concept until long after I was married. I didn't really know how to live within my means because I was so used to using credit. And now that I've been teaching my children how to be financially responsible, we have put some safeguards into place in their money management so that they don't ever borrow money, they don't take from one account and give to another, they don't ever go into debt to anybody, but that they will always spend only what's available to them. Number 2, part of my definition of financially responsibility is to expand your means, which equals work. So yes, we did train our children to find work to do outside of the home. I did not pay them for chores like cleaning their room or cleaning their own bathroom or doing their own laundry. They needed to find something else that was of value either to me or to someone outside of our family that they would get paid for. Now, you got to keep in mind that in my mind, I was training them for the real life situations. So in real life, if they were to move out of my house, no one is going to pay them to wash their own dishes and no one is going to pay them to clean their own room. So I decided I was not going to pay them for some of those things, but I did encourage them with lots of different ideas of how they could make money so that they could expand their means. Number 3 is pay yourself first. Now, you may have already heard this from lots of other sources, and I truly believe in this principle. So we have taught our children to take a small percentage of all the money that they earn or that they get and set it aside in a wealth account. And that money is only touched when they're getting ready to start a business or invest it, and that money is not to be spent. Part of financial responsibility, I believe, is wealth creation. And this is the principle that we've been teaching them so that they have a bright future ahead of them. Number 4 is plan for big purchases and pay cash for them. So we have not bought our children a whole lot of really expensive toys. All of their expensive toys, they have paid for themselves because we've taught them that being financially responsible means that you've got to have the cash in order to be able to pay for something that you really want. So they've had to be okay with the idea of delayed gratification and having to save for a period of time and then reach a goal. So I'll give you an example. My daughter paid for her first bike, $120 or $130. And my son has bought all of his own really expensive Thomas the Tank Engine train sets. I never spent any money on that. And as a matter of fact, even during Christmas times or other holidays, I never spent exorbitant amounts of money buying them toys. We bought them small gifts, but pretty much all the big purchases, they've all been paid for with their own money. Number 5 is pay for your necessities and set aside some money for them. Now, my children are 9 and 10, and they're not buying their own food, and they don't have a car, they don't have to pay for insurance, they don't have to pay for rent. However, we did make them responsible for their own pets. So they do contribute to buying food for our birds and for our little kitty. So that way it gives them a taste of real life. So when they are ready to buy a car and get insurance, they will have money set aside for those necessities. And number 6 is be generous and set aside 10% of all your money and give it to someone who really needs it. Now, my children have been trained to give to a variety of different charities and our church, and we let them make that decision. But we have built into their money management, into their training, that they should be generous with their money and that they should give. This is part of having joy in money management. And I would say they've done pretty well, but giving is definitely part of being financially responsible. Number 7, splurge only with 10% of your money or less. Now, we have worked really, really hard to teach our children to not just take all the money they have and blow it and spend it on one thing. That would be financial irresponsibility. I've done that. So I do not want my children getting caught in the trap of thinking that every cent that they get, they can go out and blow on fun. However, I do want them to have fun with their money. I do want them to splurge a little bit. So we taught them that it would be financially responsible to set aside a percentage and have them go out and have fun with that money. Number 8 is invest in yourself and in your education. Now, if my children are going to be financially responsible, they're going to need to invest in their knowledge and in their education. And that costs money. So we have them set aside enough money so that they can continue to learn about how to manage money, so they can continue to pursue their passions and upgrade their skills, because guess what? Eventually, they're gonna have to go back to principle number 2 and be able to go out and work and make a living, and they're going to continually need to keep their skills honed. We live in an era where people have 4 or 5 different careers in a lifetime. We are no longer in the era where somebody gets a job at one company and they work there for 30 years and they retire with a pension. That just doesn't happen anymore. So because I want to prepare my children for real life, I want them to have the mentality that they need to set money aside to invest in their education and in keeping their skills sharp. And number 9, make financial amends when it's necessary. So if you broke somebody's vase, if you stepped on someone's toy and broke it, just take responsibility and pay for it. And number 10, last but not least, be grateful. Live a life of gratitude. This is so important. Being a financially responsible person means being content with what you have. If you want more, you can work for more. But being content means that you just live happy with what you have. You don't compare yourself to others, and that saves you from doing things like going into debt and making silly purchases and making silly money mistakes. So, remaining grateful and showing gratitude every single day has been an important part of defining what it means to be a financially responsible person in our home. So I want to invite you to follow our gratitude sessions weekly, where we just get together with all of our friends and our family. online and we share what we're grateful for. So go check out those couple of videos that are up right now. All right, friends, thank you for sticking around to the very end. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you join us over on YouTube to get a hold of all the other videos that are posted on our channel. Please remember to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.